All right, the video is called How to Set Better Goals. Well, what does that mean, setting better goals? I'm defining better as goals that are achievable and that are meaningful. As a certified and accredited life and career coach, I'm working with people every day exploring the visions for who they want to be and the kind of lives they want to live. Unlike therapy, where you just walk in, sit down, and start venting, every single session I have with the client starts with a goal that we've articulated to help them understand what they want to understand and get them to where they want to go. So I'm going to share 4 simple but really powerful concepts to keep in mind when you're setting goals for your own life. All you have to do, if you want to, only if you want to, is like and subscribe. That really helps me connect to you guys out there. All right, tip 1 is to beware a hollow goal. There's transactional coaching and there's transformational coaching. Transactional coaching is similar to the GROW model, if you know that, GROW. G is for goal, R is for your current reality, O is for options, W is willing. What are you willing to do? An empty goal, a transactional coaching experience might be, I want to finish writing the first draft of my novel by June 1st. So this is what I have to do that by June 1st. That's transactional coaching. I'm trained in a form of coaching called transformational coaching. Transformational coaching looks at the why underneath all the what's. Transformational coaching is rooted in connecting a client to what their values are. What do they need to be bringing into their life, into their experiences, into their souls, so that they can be who they are and feel like their authentic selves? And similarly, values then come out of the person. What are they bringing to their relationships? What are they bringing to their profession? What are they bringing to the world? Looking at your objectives and your hopes with a transformational coaching lens allows you to consider, how does this honor or not honor my values? Being mindful of who do you want to be and who do you want to become, and how does a goal ignite that, makes your mission become way less impossible and way more empowering. So if you haven't articulated or understood or aligned with your values, every goal you set is just going to be empty, and how you talk yourself into it is just going to be transactional. My second tip for setting meaningful, achievable goals. I love words. I believe in the beauty of words and the power of words, and the words that we use in our language and in our minds set the course for everything we do. So one of the easiest tips for you to remember, I think, as you move forward about setting better goals is to frame your goals positively. Goals that are about escaping something. I want to be less crabby to my kids. I want to stop making such bad choices about what I'm eating. I want to stop feeling so insecure every time I apply for a job. Those are all examples of framing a goal negatively. It's about moving away from something undesirable. So it's a quick shift to just flip something negative that you're moving on from to something positive that you're moving towards. Instead of, I want to stop applying for jobs feeling so unconfident, I want to start applying for jobs feeling passionate or feeling curious. I want to stop being so grumpy to my kids. I want to start being, well, what? How would you like to show up for your kids? Is it more playfully? Is it more present? The power of phrasing your goal positively is that it helps to specify, what is it that you really want? What is it that you're really going to feel? It helps you picture what that finish line is, and it's not then just some like generic blank white ribbon of a finish line. You get to decide, oh, it's this color, and this is who's gonna be there. This is exactly what it's gonna feel like when it like rips across my chest as I run across that finish line. And be careful not to be a doomsdayer or a catastrophizer as you phrase your goals. At first, someone might sculpt a goal around something like, how do I deal with this scary confrontation with my supervisor in a way that isn't a disaster? I mean, the phrasing of that already assumes it's a confrontation. It assumes that the supervisor is going to be a certain way, instead of setting up the goal in a way that invites or at least allows the supervisor to show up in some other way. If you have to talk to your supervisor about something dicey, and in your goal you've framed it as a confrontation, then the meeting probably will be a confrontation. If in the goal you set up that meeting as a conversation or a collaboration, then already instantly that's what you're setting up as a possibility, as an opportunity, and as a likelihood. I've learned this as a coach. The words you use to set up what your goal is can change your future, can change other people's futures. You're literally changing your future by being mindful about the words you're using with your goals. And now my third tip for setting meaningful, achievable goals. And that's about selecting the right target in the right moment. I believe that an achieved goal is the seed of 100 new goals. And an unachieved goal, unfortunately, can really kind of stop us in our tracks and say like, well, I didn't achieve that. What's the point in trying to achieve something else? Sometimes I use this analogy of a dartboard with clients when I'm helping them explore what their goal is for our session or what their goals are and their commitments are to themselves in the week ahead as our session wraps up. So with the dartboard, there's, the outer rings, the lower scored little sections. And then of course there's the bullseye, 50 points. One of the merits of coaching is it helps clients consider what does it look like to live closer to that bullseye. Specificity is something we really turn to and use a lot in coaching, but there will be days or weeks or seasons of your life where that specificity and that focus on the bullseye is just going to be paralyzing and unhelpful. Allowing yourself to expand, what could this goal look like? How might it show up this week? How much of myself can I really give to this right now? When would an outer ring and 13 points still get me closer to where I want to be and set me up to be ready for that next goal being closer to that bullseye? Remember, an achieved goal is the seed of 100 new goals. A great way for you to support yourself is knowing when you want to push yourself towards that bullseye and when you need the grace and the space to be working on something in an outer ring. The fourth tip I want to share with you for setting better goals is one of my favorites. I call it designing the tunnel. Oftentimes when we set goals, we have to set them because what we have to do to get there is going to be not always just fun and games and parades. So with that, oftentimes we're in this kind of light at the end of the tunnel mindset. Once I finally get through this, once I finally graduate, or I get that promotion, or I get this article written about me, then there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes people's tunnels are really long. Like I have a client thinking about going to school for 9 years to change careers. That's a lot of years, that's a lot of schooling, that's a lot of tunnel. And if the only light you can see in your life is at the end of a 9-year or 5-year or 4-week tunnel, that can make the tunnel scary, unenterable, untravelable, unsurvivable. So whenever a client of mine is heavily pining for a light at the end of their tunnel, I always like to ask them, where could you find light inside this tunnel that you're in or that you're about to enter? So when you're setting a goal, think about the tunnel that you'll be walking through and how you get to design that tunnel. Where can you find light? How might you paint on the wall as you walk through it? Who can you invite into that tunnel with you at certain times to give you camaraderie and give you inspiration and keep you going? What do you want to learn about yourself as you go through that tunnel? Think about that. What do I want to learn about other people as I'm going through that tunnel? What shifts can I make in my thinking so that I'm present in the tunnel instead of just kind of being on autopilot for the next 4 months or 4 years? Since so much of our life is walking through dark tunnels, one of the greatest, kindest, most powerful things you can do for yourself is to realize you get to design tunnels. And how can you make that journey through the tunnel at least as bright and sometimes even brighter than the light that's at that end of the tunnel? So I'm gonna invite you to take a minute to think about a goal that you've been putting off or a goal that you've been looking at working on harder, and identify which of these 4 tips that I've laid out, which one, just try one for now, which one feels like it could help you with your journey. And then leave a comment letting me know which tip you want to try on and experiment with to see how it works for you as you think about this goal of yours. We all know how to talk ourselves out of our dreams. The gift of coaching is it gives time every week. It gives time, structure, and energy to rooting for your dreams. So if you want one-on-one support to help you understand what your goals are and how to design goals that are really aligned with you and meaningful to you, and design what that tunnel journey is like for you, reach out, set up a time on my website where we can chat, and we will get you going.